Coping with angry people. I work with the public. I deal with angry people every day. Police probably believe they see humanity at its worst, and that's undoubtedly true, but those of us who interact with customers see a pretty ugly side of humanity ourselves. Petty, ranting, whining, lying, condescending, hateful people descend on us daily, by phone, in person, by chat, email, or however. Just look at the so-called friendly skies and all the fighting happening on airplanes. What the hell is that about? Suddenly people can't be trusted to sit still for 2 hours? We're not content to just sit and look out the window or doze off. We're toddlers now, demanding our own way or else. We need to scream at someone or slap and tackle them. We really need air marshals now? Really? Back on the ground, things aren't much better. Hospital caregivers report an alarming increase in abusive behavior from patients and visitors. Mean comments, screaming, tantrums, even racist insults. The same goes for people working in retail, food production and processing, maintenance, agriculture, various forms of transportation, hospitality, and education. Statistics say 84% of people think Americans are angrier than the generation before. According to poll results in an article from PR Newswire, customers are becoming increasingly aggressive in their efforts to solve their problems with businesses. 43% raised their voice to show displeasure about their most serious problem, up from 35% in 2015. Also, the percentage of customers actually seeking revenge for their hassles has tripled since 2020. Seeking revenge? In 2022, after interviewing employees from a variety of industries, the Harvard Business Review published an article with the following examples of customer rudeness. When a retail employee said good morning, the customer replied, "I do not need you for anything. Leave me alone. If I need you, I'll call you. You're here to serve, not to talk with me." Okay. In schools, parents, quote, approach school staff with claws out, ready for blood. They're unwilling to listen and are rude, mean, and threatening, end quote. At some point over the past 5 or 6 years, people lost their minds. Not everyone, mind you. There are still a lot of normal people walking around who choose not to drink the haterade. It's just that the number of people who are susceptible to blowing a gasket has grown. I blame the social climate, the political climate, hell, I even blame climate change, and of course social media. Mother Earth is fed up with people and the pollution we bring. Most of us are experiencing floods, tornadoes, wildfires, and 5 or more feet of snow. At the same time, more of us are attacking each other on social media while we hide behind our computer screens like trolls under a bridge. All this stress and rudeness takes a toll. According to the Harvard Business Review article, being exposed to rude words reduces our ability to process and recall information. Even just witnessing rude behavior takes a cognitive toll, interfering with our working memory and decreasing our performance. And this can be dangerous. For example, exposure to rudeness has been shown to negatively impact medical teams' diagnoses and procedural performance. In other words, a doctor can diagnose you incorrectly or screw up a procedure or operation because the patient or their family cussed him out. Wow, it makes sense though. I could go into the ways that businesses can and should protect their employees from bad customer behavior, but I feel like that would be a waste of time. It's obvious that employees shouldn't have to tolerate screaming, yelling, threatening, cursing, and physical attacks. In my opinion, most businesses care more about their customers than their employees. When customers misbehave, employees are expected to ignore their own feelings, quickly pivot, and whip out a bunch of de escalating techniques they've learned from an HR rep who never deals with angry customers. Employees are expected to show empathy, as though there's ever a legitimate reason for bad behavior. I don't know about you, but I've dealt with sickness, stress, grief, and more without taking it out on other people. Still, even in these days of rage, little acknowledgement is given to the frontline teams who are frequently under attack. Remember the old saying, the customer's always right? This phrase sets up an imbalance between employees and customers. Employees must simply deal with misbehaving customers who feel they can do anything, even if it's rude, uncivil, and causes increased vulnerability. In workplaces where the customer is always right, we see a negative impact on the employee's capacity to satisfy customers and perform their job. Why? Because of the mental health issues that such a policy produces in the employees. So not only does the employee suffer depression and anxiety, they feel unprotected and unappreciated by their employer and are less able to perform at their best. A 2022 study by Batra found that 80% of hospitality workers suffer from mental health issues. Just imagine all the hate and vitriol directed to people who work at restaurants, hotels, clubs, airlines, and theme parks. If you can't imagine, it's because you don't work with the public. Since most workplaces are so busy teaching their employees to shrug off bad customer behavior, I figured I could help. Verbal abuse can lead to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. It can also cause feelings of shame, guilt, social isolation, and hopelessness, which can create a sense of helplessness. Other mental health effects include post-traumatic stress disorder, chronic stress, and questioning your memory of events. Verbal abuse can also lead to physical health problems such as eating disorders and headaches and high blood pressure. So what's more important, the fact that Karen found too many onions in her soup or your own mental and physical well-being? In a world where women are taught to leave their abusers, I would love for everyone who gets terrorized by their customers to be able to win the lottery and quit their jobs. Unfortunately, that ain't happening. Self-preservation in a world of assholes requires a unique approach. When you're under attack, remember to breathe. Try being silent while the person rants. Sometimes that is enough to give them a chance to realize just how crazy they sound. Don't get emotionally drawn into the personal attacks. When you're being called an idiot, it's easy to feel like you are indeed an idiot for not choosing a better career. In most cases, it's okay to calmly object to the abuse by saying something like, "If you continue to be verbally abusive, I'll have to terminate the call or interaction, whichever it is." Once you've made it through the ordeal like the professional you are, it's time to honor your anger. At times like this, it's okay to imagine the customer being run over by a train or decapitated by a rusty chainsaw. Or if you have a pen, paper, and privacy, you can write words like whore or bastard, anything that makes you feel better. The law of attraction doesn't kick in on one-off experiences like that, so don't expect karma to bite you in the butt because you spent 10 seconds doing what you could to diffuse your rage and hurt feelings. By the time you've thought or written your way to vengeance, there's probably another customer on the phone or standing in your line. So when you take that brief time to honor your rage, make it count, be creative, then take a deep breath because it's on to the next one, as Jay-Z said. Use your break time to vent with coworkers and your lunch time to escape as much as possible, even if you just eat in your car and listen to music. I find that listening to hip hop helps me recover from customer abuse. Just find whatever works based on your personal taste. Once you're off the clock, you may still be feeling victimized. It makes sense. You'll find yourself treating yourself to cake and pie or ordering nonsense from Amazon to make yourself feel better. Don't blame yourself. It's the fault of jackass numbers 1 through 10 who said you weren't helpful or you work for thieves. What you need to do is find a better way to deal with the lingering frustration. Meditation can help. When you're frustrated, it's usually much harder to slow your thoughts, but do it anyway. While it's true that zero thoughts is the ultimate goal of meditation, it's also true that slower thoughts are better than racing ones. So if all meditation can do for you is slow your thoughts at the end of a hard day, that's great. It'll make it easier for you to sleep. Don't forget, meditation is a spiritual practice meant to rid us of our mental overload so that we can commune with our source. When there are no thoughts cluttering the path between ourselves and source, we're open to receive healing and inspiration, even inspiration that can help us find a better job. What a wonderful outcome that would be, right? Because by all means, if you're at the point where abusive customers make you hate your job and your life, it's time to make a change, especially if you're young or far from retirement, because you're clearly sensitive and don't belong in situations where you're regularly exposed to the toxicity of angry people. In your case, you'll also want to use meditation and the law of attraction to attract a job that's suitable for sensitive souls. You may notice I haven't mentioned empathy as a way to deal with hostile customers. That's because I don't believe they deserve it. The day I start making excuses for bullies, brats, and tantrum throwers is the day I quit this vlog. Because as I said, I've known sickness, grief, loss, stress, etc., but I have the decency and good sense not to take it out on other people. There may be reasons for inhumane customer behavior, but never excuses. So if you've been screamed and cursed at, threatened and name-called, now is the time to close your eyes and relax with me. The losers can't hurt you now. You're safe for the moment, and peace is at hand. You're doing the best you can under the circumstances you have to work with. You're just trying to pay your bills like everyone else. You go through life respecting others. You smile at people in public and behave courteously in traffic. You don't deserve to be yelled at and talked down to. Take a deep breath and say, screw those assholes. I'm good and deserving of good. Take another deep breath and repeat, I'm good and deserving of good. Bring that thought with you into meditation. I'm good and deserving of good. I'm good and deserving of good. I'm good and deserving of good.